I'm talking about something that is so difficult for me, but I knew that I could not keep silent. I know that I can't keep silent. If I do, I'm letting myself and all of you down. So I have to say, me too. I have to say that this anguish, thank you for all the hearts and for all the love. Thank you. Thank you. I am horrified about all of the revelations, but I'm not surprised. And that's sad. I'm not at all surprised. As many of you know, I have been in the world of theater for 40 years, where the desperation of the people that flock to theater and performance makes us an easy mark for predators, an easy mark for those who feel our desperation, for those who have their fingers on the pulse of our desperation and can feel our hearts beating with a desire to be loved. Now, that's not such an unusual quality, because everyone on this planet wants to be loved, wants to be appreciated. We all do. But those of us that ran to the stage, the need is somehow more pressing. That's what makes us such good channels for good and evil and pleasure and pain and beauty and ugliness, and makes us vessels of expression. What I am heartened by is that so many women that I don't know, women that I do know, colleagues that I do know, and the men, the courageous men, who have stepped up and said, me too, or I was guilty of abuse. Do you realize the magnitude of forcibly toppling these pseudo-icons? Icons only because they were in a position of power. I'll give you a hit movie, I'll give you a hit show. And that, it happens all across society. It is not merely in show business. Show business is sort of the tip of the iceberg because it's a more visible part of our society. It thrives on visibility. But how perfect, because its very visibility is what has caused it to fall on its ass right in front of us, right in front of the whole world. And I must share that my experience was, I'm not going to say unusual, because there are so many permutations and faces of abuse. My abuse occurred when I was very young. More than likely, my uncle was the first person who abused me, and perhaps others. I don't know, because I shut it out. I shut it out of my head. I'm going to say that what it did to me was kept me on a wheel of allowing those I trusted, who worked their way into my trust, to get away with murder. I allowed abuse to happen in various forms as I got older because it was what I knew. I was indoctrinated. That is what I was taught. My mother was abused. And her mother was afraid of saying anything to her father because she was afraid he would kill the man. Well, my mother did the same thing with me. Abuse is lovingly passed down from generation to generation. Well, darlings, the buck stops here. You see abuse, you experience abuse, you open your mouth and you talk about it. Yeah, you might lose your job. Yeah, you might lose your job. But I'm going to say to you that the tide has turned. That those who used to be snug and safe in their ivory towers are no longer smug or safe. They are standing on really shaky ground. And for some period of time, I would think that the pendulum is going to swing all the way the other way. That if someone looks at a woman and raises their eyebrow, there's going to be an uproar and an outcry. That is how a pendulum works until it comes to the center. Until we come to the place where I'll say it for the 70,000th time that women will save the world. We will heal the world. You see, now there is unity in all this disparity. There are women who are very powerful, financially powerful, emotionally powerful. They are in a position of respect in society. There are women who have absolutely nothing. We can all say, we can all wear the t-shirt of me too. And one thing that I'm going to pass on now is, I think, the only reason why I didn't experience the casting couch is because there was something inside of me. Because I was so wounded that I didn't even admit it to myself. I was pimped by both my mother and my father. And what happens is you create this illusion that it's not true, that it can't be true because they love me, don't they? Darling, they don't love themselves. And if they don't love themselves, how could they possibly love you? So when you are brought up not knowing that you have rights, not knowing that you can say, no, that hurts. No, I don't like this. No, go away from me. When you finally realize that, it took me a lifetime. I was hiding behind all of these masks on stage, but one thing I did that was absolutely brilliant was the mask that I hid behind for, I'm going to say 90% of the time, was this magnificent creature called Carmen. Of course my Carmen was absolutely unbelievably real. Yeah, it was unbelievably real. Because inside there was rage. I won awards for the rage that I felt. It was inarticulate rage, but at least on stage I could scream, as long as it was on pitch. And as long as I followed someone's beat, I could scream. But the character that I picked was Carmen. And when I picked Carmen, think about who this gypsy is. For those of you who don't know the opera, this is an incredible Jungian archetype of a powerful female. A powerful female, not necessarily a positive one. She's a life force, but she takes what she wants like a child. But what I used, what I held on to, and what made my characterization so compelling is that I was trying to live my life through this character. This was a character who said, "Frappez-moi donc ou laissez-moi passer. Kill me or let me pass." Well, when you're in that place, those that are the predators, when they circle around like sharks, smelling blood in the water, they would look in my eyes and they would back off. Because there was something in my eyes that said, "Don't fuck with me." So whatever character, if you are feeling tender and weak and vulnerable in your life, whatever character you have to adopt, if it's Wonder Woman, if it's a gypsy like Carmen, if it's a big black panther, and Debbie, that's why I love panthers so much, is because I pictured myself as a big black panther. They could pet me if I had been fed and if I was in the mood to allow you to pet my shoulder. If not, I'd rip your throat out. And what happens is there was so much rage that the boundaries that I had were tremendous. They were not tremendous for people that were close to me. For people, alas, that I trusted again and again and again in my life. So the patterns of abuse still got me. But in the workplace, it didn't get me because I was hiding behind this character. Do you understand? She was my defense. And it took me 50 years of my life to grow into the woman of the fourth act who says, "Kill me or let me pass. You don't own me. I own myself. You have no control over me. I don't care if I starve. I own myself." For each of us who has ever experienced any kind of abuse, and that includes emotional abuse, it doesn't just include sexual abuse. We are no one's property. Not ever are we anyone's property. We own ourselves, and we are here, those of us that have reached the middle of our lives. It is our duty, it is our responsibility to put your wings out over every young woman who crosses your path and let her know that she can stand up and she can say no. And she has the right to say no. Now, always, and eternally. And when I say to you that women will save this world, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, and I'm not exaggerating. I know that we will. I know that our hearts and our souls and our nurturing beings will transform this planet. But we have to stand up. We have to be seen. And it's happening. Don't you see that it's happening? While this is horrific, it is wonderful, wonderful, because those that have been abusers for so long cannot hide in the shadows anymore. Bring the flashlight of your soul, charge all the batteries, and shine it in all the dark places. And don't ever allow anyone, whether you are a man, a woman, a cat, a dog, do not allow anyone to own you. No one owns you. Even if they're feeding and sheltering you, they do not own you. I was afraid of tonight's broadcast. I was afraid because I didn't necessarily want to reveal all of my pain. But I know that I have made a vow to myself to hold the torch of freedom and authenticity high. I made a commitment, and I'm not going to back down, not now, and not for the rest of my days. I promise you that I will continue speaking the truth, although it's uncomfortable and it's not nice to hear and it's not comforting. The one thing I hope it is inspiring. All of you, I want you to know that you are not alone. We are all with you. Humans, please be kind to each other. Please be kind. Stop trying to manipulate. I know you do so because you're afraid, because you have fear, because you want to think. Wrap yourself in the illusion of power. You're not powerful. You're stupid, empty little men. A man who really wants to relate to a woman who really wants to relate to a woman, is going to open your heart. You're not going to take anything from that person. You're going to ask that person to be all they can be. To be high and rich and deep and strong. You will love them. You will respect them. That is what love is. If there is one thing my mother taught me, is what love is not. So each of us take a vow with me that when you see a young woman, a young man, a young person in pain and being abused in any way, let them know you are not alone. We are all with you. And by all of us revealing our pain, that is how we change the world. That is how we make ourselves stronger, and that is how we inspire everyone around us. My darlings, you know how many times I've said to you that I believe that women will change the world and save the world. We will. And I'm excited to share a class with you. I'll make another video and I'll tell you more about it. It's called Prospering Woman, and it starts November 2nd. And I want you all to join me, please. I want you to join me, and then in January we will go into Life Design Formula. It's so much more powerful than New Year's resolutions. It's going to be living your New Year's resolutions, and you will have the support of other powerful women. Because I vow to you and I vow to myself that until I am on this earth, and until I can speak and write and be articulate in some way, I am committed to sharing every skill through every modality that I possess to give all of you the tools to create a better life for yourselves, and therefore, like ripples on a pond, to create a better world. It's in our hands. It's in our hearts. We can do this. I want us to unite. And I am one of the leaders that holds up that light. And I accept it. I accept the responsibility. Part of me speaking this way tonight is saying, I surrender. I know I'm supposed to do this. And I'm not backing down. When you see abuse, when you hear of abuse, if you experience it, well, no, you probably won't. Because when that fire happens in your eyes, the way it was in my eyes in my work, they back off. Believe me, they back off. because there's something that says, me, you don't want to mess with. You can ask one of my beloved students, in case you're listening, Dofi. I said to Dofi that she had to draw herself up to her full height and look at anyone and say, I'm Dofi. I deserve to be here. Don't mess with me. Darlings, thank you. Thank you with all my heart for being here. I'm emotional right now, and I got a client coming up. I will answer all these. I'm seeing beautiful comments and all the beautiful hearts. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to end with something. Well, you know how much I love the prophet Khalil Gibran. And a woman spoke, said, tell us of pain. And he said, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy, and you would accept the seasons of your heart, even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your fields, and you would watch with serenity through the winters of your grief. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Darlings, the only thing I am grateful for is all the pain that I have experienced in my life, and my working out of that pain has refined my spirit and given me so much strength that I have a great deal to teach because of that. Take the pain and with tears make a beautiful vessel to hold that pain and cast it out into the air and let it go. Abuse like that does not touch our souls. They would like to think it does. In the end, yo soy, I am. We own ourselves. Go forth with strength, with directness. Be unafraid to say no. Might there be consequences? Yes. But you're not alone. We women are uniting. The band is encircling the earth. The band of women. And we will heal this planet. Join me. Come with me. Let me know what you think. I am here with all my heart to serve you. And thank you for the warmth and the support tonight. Thank you so much.